Yesterday we talked about adding paragraphs to your writing. Before you watch the video today, please go into your Google Documents and check to see if you have any highlighted words. Remember, a highlighted word or phrase means you have a comment. Make sure you read that comment, and if I ask you to do something, make sure that you do it before you resolve your comment. Pause this video now and check for comments. Now that you've checked your comments, make sure you have your writing notebook open to your resource tab and find the anchor chart that says transitional words. Today, we are going to talk about adding in transitional words and adding an ending to our writing. We've talked about transition words before, and transition words are words that we use to start a sentence. They always have a comma after them, and they help things go in order. Let's take a quick look at our mentor text. Here's our How to Decorate a Christmas Tree. Notice in the directions, the first word of every new direction or paragraph is a transition word. I have first, next, then, after that, and last. Those are great transition words that you guys need to be using in your directions. Let's brainstorm a few transition words that you can use now. As I'm writing, you should also be writing in your anchor chart so that when you go to add transition words, you're able to use new and creative transition words. So we can use first, just like they did in our example or mentor text. We can say to begin with, to start, or starting off. Make sure that you're copying these down so that you know how to spell them and you can add them in. Also notice I've put a comma after every transitional word or phrase. Make sure you're putting a comma in your notes so that you remind yourself, hey, I need to make sure that I have a comma after my transitions. Now, we are going to need a lot more middle transitions than beginning and ends because we only begin and end our directions once. So I'm going to give you a few ideas, and then I would encourage you look up some transition words that could go in the middle. You can do that by Googling transitions and seeing if there are any great ideas for you. So some of the things that we've talked about in the past would be next, after that, in a few minutes, shortly after, later. All of these things are helping us move through the process. I would encourage you, try to not use a transitional word or phrase more than once. If you go in and look up new transitions, you can find lots of great ideas. Let me show you how to do that. I'm going to look up transition words for kids. Now you can go into images and look at all of these transition words, or you can actually go into a website. I like to go into images and just see what people have, and it's great to get some awesome ideas. Look at all these transition words. We've got next, later, second, also soon, suddenly, before long, in the meantime. Ooh, that's a great one for directions. Meanwhile, unfortunately, as soon as. All of those are great transition words. So doing just a little bit of research can really help you be creative, and it can help you add in some interesting transition words. So your first task today, let's do some ending transitions too. Now, I looked up a few here, and they had some great ideas. They've got finally, last, in the end, in conclusion, to sum it up, as a result, last but not least. So let's add a few of those into our anchor charts. Last, finally, at the end, to end with. You could say for your last step. So any of those would be great transitions. Make sure that you add these into your notes and any other transitions that you find and I think are interesting. Once you have those transitions in your notes, we can go into our Google document here, and we can begin adding in transitions every time we start a new paragraph. So yesterday you guys worked on adding new paragraphs, and now we can add in our transitions. So that's going to take a little bit of work because we need to make sure that we have the correct punctuation. So I'm going to start with first, comma. Now I'm going to need to get rid of my capital letter here. First, fill your pot with water. Maybe I'll add in, when you have done that, comma. Once again, getting rid of my capital then. When you have done that, put it on the stove and turn the stove on. Okay? Oh, look it, I already have a transition here. While you wait, I just needed my comma. Crack 1 or 2 eggs into your cup. Your first task today is to go through your directions and add in your transitional words or phrases. I will be looking for commas, I'll be looking for creativity, and I'll be looking to make sure that you're not just repeating the same transitional word as you go. The last thing I want to talk to you today about is I want to talk to you about adding in a good ending. Notice in my mentor text here, she didn't just end with last, plug in the lights on your tree. Okay, she has one more sentence or paragraph here that kind of finishes things off and wraps it all up. And that's what I want you guys to do today as well. It says, after you have followed these easy steps, you will have a beautiful Christmas tree to admire through the holidays. That's a great idea of something that you guys can add to finish things up. As I look at my writing, I say, when the timer rings, take your pot off the stove and fish out the eggs with a spoon. Now, that's not a very good way to end, fishing out eggs with a spoon. I'm going to add in an extra paragraph here, and I'm going to say, you can season your eggs with salt and pepper to taste and enjoy them with some fresh toast. Poaching eggs can be a real treat and is simpler than you might think. So I've kind of encouraged my reader, hey, this isn't as hard as you think. It's worth it. Give my tutorial a try, right? That's a great way to close things off. So you guys have 2 tasks today. Task number 1, add in those transitions. Task number 2, focus on adding in a couple sentences at the end of your writing to close things off, to encourage people to walk through your steps, and to make sure they know, hey, you're done now. Great job. Thanks for listening. Add your transitions and an ending today.